Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to give you guys a heads up on the latest announced Epic Games Store exclusive, and while I typically don't cover these that in depth, this one is something that could point to something that I think a lot of us are expecting in the future. So, Tecmo Koei Games is, and published title by Square Enix, excuse me, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin will be an Epic Games Store timed exclusive. Now, if you don't know, this is the game that got a trailer and it got memed to death because the main character, just keeps saying chaos over and over again. Well, like all the characters just say chaos over and over again. Yeah, it's a pretty meme trailer, but the demo itself that was released on PS5 was actually kind of decent. It's a Souls-like game with a bit of a Final Fantasy skin on it. It's decent. I'm sure some people are looking forward to it. I don't think it's going to be anything blow away, but it is a game that is published by Square Enix, and the fact that this is an exclusive, the fact that Neo World Ends With You is an exclusive, the fact that Kingdom Hearts is an exclusive, I think we can finally acquiesce the fact that Square Enix is in some sort of partnership with the Epic Games Store, and that probably means that Final Fantasy VII Remake will ultimately be an Epic Games Store exclusive as well. Now, I know some people do get up in arms over the EGS exclusives, and I did for a while, but honestly, like, bro, I stopped caring at this point, and when I saw how much money is being thrown out to these developers and publishers, I was like, you know what? Like, let's be real, that's a lot of money, and they are a business, so I can understand from their standpoint why they're taking these deals, and at the end of the day, to them, what it is a one-year timed exclusivity agreement for a boatload of cash, or in the case of Gearbox, it was 6 months, for a boatload of cash, and then they release the game on Steam anyway, and people end up buying it still, so it's like, to them, it's a no-brainer decision from a business standpoint. I know from us, we're like, oh, I wish I could play the game in my platform of choice, and I agree with you, I would like to have the game on Steam. I would love to play, have Neo The World Ends With You on Steam if that was an option, but, yo, if that is going to help these developers and publishers get the bag, especially with a game like Neo The World Ends With You, which, you know, a game like that, who knows if it would have sold really well. So if you could secure, you know, a gigantic lump sum of money right off the gate with a game like that, hopefully secure that franchise's future, and then, you know what, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world, but I do think people should be mentally prepared, because Final Fantasy VII Remake is a major title, and when that's an EGS exclusive, if it's an EGS exclusive, I think you guys should temper your disappointment. I know not everybody feels that way about the Epic Games Store, they just see it as another launcher, you know, and that's totally fine. Some people just see it as a launcher to get free games, some people actually do buy games on it. Whatever side of the spectrum you're on, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, just because, to me, at this stage of the game, unless a game is something that I absolutely must play day one, and there are a couple games like that, but is Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin one of those for me? No. Neo The World Ends With You, I played it on the PlayStation 4 on my PS5. Final Fantasy VII Remake, played it on the PlayStation, but, to me, it's not a big deal anymore, but I know some people are PC-only people, and that would be a bit of a bummer if you're not a fan of using the Epic Games Store, and FF7 Remake is a game you really want to play. But from the lens of Square Enix, think about what they have accomplished, and I've said this before in a previous video, but what they are doing with Final Fantasy VII Remake to get the most amount of revenue, to milk every last cent that you can get out of it, it is actually kind of genius, and I have to respect them to an extent, because look at this. Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced as a PlayStation 4 exclusive. As a timed exclusive, mind you. Sony definitely paid Square Enix a significant amount of money for that game. Then came Intergrade Final Fantasy VII, and I'm pretty sure Square Enix was paid a little bit of money on that too, because that extended the timed exclusivity period. Now, I think it's a foregone conclusion that the game is ultimately going to come to PC here in the relative near future. If it is an Epic Games Store exclusive, now they're getting money from Epic Games to make it a timed exclusive. Bear in mind, they are still selling copies of this game, and that is still gravy to them. And then ultimately, they can turn around in another year and then release the game on Steam and sell even more copies of the game. So ultimately, they're gonna sell copies of the game comparable to what they would have sold. It probably wouldn't be as much, but at the same time, you look at the type of money that EGS is probably giving them, Epic Games is giving them, the money that Sony gave them. I mean, from a business standpoint, you can understand why these decisions and these exclusivity deals are being made. It's not the best for us that want to play the games on every platform we so desire, and maybe you could make the argument that sales are going to be hampered to the point of the overall return not being worth signing these exclusivity deals. We don't have the exact finances of what's going on between Square Enix and Epic Games, but I have a feeling that the finances are probably worth it in the case of Square Enix. And at this stage of the game, you know, I'm at the point where a bunch of games are EGS exclusive, but there are so many games to play, and I think a lot of people are starting to think that way too, that, you know, are you gonna lose a lot of sleep if you don't play Kena Bridge of Spirits on day one on PC? I think the average person is going to be like, you know, that game looks pretty cool, but I can wait a year to play that. I'm going to play it on PlayStation. I already played it on PlayStation. But I'm just speaking for the majority of people, and maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe some people really do want to play Kena Bridge of Spirits on PC on day one, and they don't want to use the Epic Game Store. But that's probably going to be on Steam in a year, and you're going to probably get it at a discounted price point, or like with DLC, if DLC comes to that game. And I think ultimately, I think people are just getting accustomed to it, that this is going to be a reality they have to deal with, and I don't think a lot of people are being that annoyed by it anymore, especially in the case of, like, Kingdom Hearts. I mean, bruh, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8, $60, Kingdom Hearts 3, $50, well, what are we doing here? What are these prices? Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 is like $50, like, come on, bruh. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I want to hear your opinion, especially with the potential possibility of Final Fantasy VII Remake being an Epic Game Store exclusive. But that's gonna do it for me. I'm out, guys. Have a great one. Peace. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button, so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.